the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast. I'm Matt. Unfortunately, Sam's unwell this week. We wish him better. But with Sam not being here, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to have a Coulson family summer holiday takeover episode. So I've got two very special guests here with me today. I've got my co-presenter Seb.
Hello.
And I've got our very own stats person, our very own Richard Osman, Layla. You say hello. So, with it being a summer holiday takeover episode, we've got to talk first of all about our summer holidays.
Yeah.
So, how long we got left of our summer holidays now?
2 weeks.
2 weeks left. But have you had a good time?
Yes.
So, you've had a good time. So, what has been your highlights of the...
Well, I loved all of them, but especially Gulliver's Land.
You liked to go into Gulliver's Land, did you?
Yeah.
Fantastic. What about you, Seb?
I love Gulliver's Land too. I love the log through and us getting soaked when coming out of the log
Sebby got the most soap.
We did. But luckily, we've had really hot weather, haven't we?
Yeah.
Although it's raining, as we record this morning on Thursday, it's raining. It's like the first time I've seen rain in weeks. It's like, what is that coming out of the clouds? Right, okay. Well, unfortunately, even though you guys have been off for the last few weeks, Daddy's had to work. Yeah, don't cheer, Seb. But that has meant that we couldn't go to the Wolves game on Saturday, so we sold our tickets, didn't we? And they did get snapped up really quickly, so hopefully whoever sat in our seats, Seb, enjoyed the game. I managed to catch the first half. I watched the first half on my phone when I was working, and then my boss come in, and I had to quickly turn it off. But you watched it on television, Seb, didn't you?
Yeah.
What did you make of the game?
The first half we played terrible. We were giving the ball away to Wolves. I felt like we were going to see like 5 goals. But then the second half, Perisic seemed to like play the best in the team. Son didn't have the best of the game. Like Kane, he scored a goal. He had a couple near goal chances. Perisic assisted his goal with an amazing header. His headers are really great because as you saw during the game, because from corners he was always heading it into the goal, but sadly the keeper was catching it. But yeah, the second half we were better as we scored the goal.
We've got a. I know you know, Seb, that I told you, we've hired a coach, like a set piece coach, because it's something that we've not really been that great on a lot. The season's gone past, and you can see already, can't you, how much it's worked? Because
it was a great corner.
Yeah, because like Perisic has obviously headed it, and Kane was getting really marked by the Wolves defender, but he managed to sort of pull him off, didn't he? Because the defender was following the ball. And it's almost like Perisic knew exactly where Kane was, and it was such an easy header for Kane, wasn't it? Yeah, he's been a great signing, Perisic. Was you pleased to see him start the game?
Amazingly pleased.
Yeah.
Conte should start him off the game. And even though Session is a good player, I think Perisic is way more experienced, and I think he should start more games.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because I was talking to Sam last week on the podcast because look, Perisic is a fantastic defender. Like you can see, a fantastic player. He's won everything. He's got all the experience, and you kind of want him to play because he's the better player than Sessegnon. But at the same time, you want Sessegnon to progress, and he's only going to progress, isn't he, when he's playing? So it's really difficult to for me to decide who I want to play at left back. But I think. Yeah, Perisic had a great game, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had a really, really good game.
He acted like he was playing for Bayern Munich when they won the Champions League.
Yeah, we seem to be. I know we've got 7 points, which is fantastic, and I'm feeling really positive about the season, like the start we've had.
Yeah.
But we seem to really start games slow, don't we?
Really slow. Like we start off like making bad passes to the opposition. Like I can remember Dyer. He had the ball and he had so much space, but he gave it to Jimenez. But luckily, Lloris saved it.
Yeah.
I think half time Conte always gives them talks to them about something.
Yeah.
That gets them in the mood for the game, and that's how we play better. Like when we played Chelsea, we scored 2 goals after half time.
Can you imagine Conte? Does he think he shouts them? Because whenever we see him being interviewed, he always seems so calm and cool, doesn't he?
He has to stay calm and cool, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He can't get angry all the time.
Although saying that, we don't see him calm and cool when we score goals, do we?
Yeah, he always run into his assistant managers.
That's why we got Conte cam. Poor old Ryan Mason, his arm muscles must be so strong having to catch Conte every time he jumps into his arms. So yeah, it sounds like the second half was much better.
Way better.
It'll make way better, yeah. If we can just fix the starts of the games and play like we did in the second half for both halves,
We
then
could possibly finish second or third.
you reckon second or third?
Yeah.
Do you think you've got a chance of winning it?
Yeah, somehow.
Hopefully we can win something this season, eh?
If we beat Liverpool this season, I feel like we're gonna actually do way better than we did in 2021.
Yeah, well, we see. I mean, it's still early days, isn't it? So we'll see where we are with it. Right. Okay. So with that game, so I think that by the sounds of things, the second half was a lot better. I only got to watch the highlights, but it looks like we really improved, and we hit the post a couple of times, hit the crossbar, didn't we? So we had a much better second half. So we've got our own little stats girl, a little Rich Nosman here. So I think you should give us some of the stats on the Wolves game. What have you got for us, Layla?
Spurs have lost 4 of their past 7 home league games against Wolves before Saturday's game. Kane's goal moved him, but Sergio Aguero with the most goals for a single club in the Premier League with 185 goals. Spurs' win was Conte's 70th in the Premier League.
70th.
Lloris kept his 121st Premier League clean sheet, the 5th most of any goalkeeper for a single club. Spurs now join Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal.
Don't say that word on the podcast.
And Chelsea in scoring 1,000 home Premier League goals.
Wow.
We're better than Arsenal.
Yeah, we are. So you probably don't know the answer to this, Seb, but so Lloris has now got the 5th most clean sheets in the Premier League for a single club. Who do you think's first?
Is it Nora?
No, in the Premier League. In the Premier League. You probably
check.
Yeah, well done, Seb. God, I'm really, really impressed that you knew that. Right, okay. So, we've spoken about the Wolves game, and we've got our stats off Layla. So, I think what we could do now, since I've got you two guys with me. So, Seb, how old are you?
10.
And Layla, how old are you?
7.
7, right. So, seeing as your dad's what? I'm 30, aren't I?
You're 43.
I'm not 43, am I? I'm not 43.
Yes, you are.
Right, okay.
You were 34 when I was born.
Yeah, right, guys. Right, okay. Well, seeing as I'm 43, what I thought I could do was we could have a look at see where Spurs were when I was your age. So maybe, who should we go for first? Should we go for Seb? So let's say when Daddy was 10. So Layla, what have we got for us for when Daddy was 10?
When Daddy was 10, it was the 1989 to 1990 season. Spurs were managed by Terry Venables and finished 3rd in the league. Our top goal scorer was Gary Lineker with 24 goals. Highlights that year included, along the double over Manchester United, beating Liverpool and Arsenal, and finishing the season above Arsenal.
Oh, fantastic. That's good news, isn't it? Okay. Right, so that was when I was 10. So how about when I was your age, Layla? When I was 7. So what have we got on that one?
When Daddy was 7, it was the 1986 to 1987 season. Spurs were managed by David Pleat and again finished 3rd in the league. Our top goal scorer was Clive Allen, who scored an incredible 49 goals that season. Highlights that the year included reaching the final of the FA Cup, the semi-final of the League Cup, and doing the double over Liverpool. Oh, and of course, finishing the season above Arsenal.
Yay! Oh, Seb, do you know what? That FA Cup 1987, that was so upset with that game. It was Coventry, yeah. They beat us 3-2. It's so frustrating getting to a final and then losing the final. But we did win the one in 1991. We won that one 2-1 against Nottingham Forest, so we did win an FA
My
Cup 4
favourite
years
one
later.
is when we beat Arsenal. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Any-
It's always good
We
beating
made a
Arsenal.
Any time that you beat Arsenal, it's good.
It's any time we beat Arsenal, it's good.
We
so.
made a comeback from 2-0 down, didn't we?
We did, yeah. And do you know what? Thinking about it, like 49 goals in one season. How incredible is that?
That's what Ronaldo does.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying, Seb, is Clive Allen is the Ronaldo of the 1980s. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I'm happy to go along with that. I always remember, I think I've told this story before on the podcast, but Clive Allen was involved in the club quite a lot, in like the younger, like the under 21s and the reserve squad. And I always remember going to Stevenage because Spurs play their under 23s. It's under 21s now, isn't it? But they played their under 23s at Stevenage. We've been to some games, haven't we? And I remember we went.
Liverpool,
Yeah, we saw that was 1-1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I remember going to a game when we played West Ham, and there was like a random bottle on the floor that had like a West Ham label on it, and Clive Allen just stood on it and squished it and looked round, and all the Spurs fans cheered. So he's definitely a hero as far as Spurs fans are concerned.
Spurs in his blood now. Like
Oh,
Ledley
absolutely.
King.
Yeah, Ledley King, yeah.
He's still involved in the club.
Yeah, there's that mural, isn't there? You know, when you go to when me and you go to the game, we can see there's that graffiti art of Ledley King, which is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, he's an amazing player. One of the most underrated players in the Premier League
Oh,
ever.
yeah, he was great. I always say, I think with Ledley King, he was always he was a one club player, and I'm glad he stayed with Spurs his whole season. But I just think his whole career. But I think if he hadn't have hurt his knee, then
He would be one of the best.
well, I think not just that, but all the great clubs would have come from. You know, I
But
can
he
imagine him
would
going to
stay
Real
with
Madrid,
Spurs.
and I don't know, he was such a good player. Do you remember I showed you that video of at that time when Robin, Chelsea player, and he just came from nowhere, didn't he?
It's amazing.
Yeah, he was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. That was very well done, Layla. Thank you very much for those stats.
You're
Right.
welcome.
Thank you very much. Right, seeing as Seb already doing a podcast seems to have so much knowledge that even surprising me, I think that we should do a quiz on Seb on the Spurs shirt numbers. What do you think?
Yeah.
I was going to, Seb. When I was thinking of doing the quiz, I was thinking, what should I do? Because I don't think you'd know much about Spurs' history. But the fact that you got Peter Cech as the highest clean sheet, you know stuff before you was probably even born. So maybe I should have done a different quiz. But what I thought we could do.
I'm the greatest.
Well, you kind of.
Right, okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you a shirt number for Spurs in the current season, and you had to tell me what player plays with that shirt number. Okay. Now Layla's got the answers, so we've got six. Okay. The first 5 I'm going to ask you, and when you get to the end of the 5, how many points you got, you can then, with a 6th one, decide to answer the question to double your amount of points, or if you get it wrong, you lose all your points, but you'll be able to choose at the end. Okay.
Game show.
Yeah, this is a game show, Seb. Yeah. Right. Okay. So number 1, I'll give you a nice easy one to start with.
Okay.
Which player plays in the number 7 shirt?
Son.
Ah, that was too easy, wasn't it, Layla?
That was correct.
That was correct. Was it correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2, who plays in the 5 shirt?
Oh, Højbjerg?
Yeah.
Was that correct?
Yeah.
Wow. Number 3, who plays in the 17 shirt?
What, Session?
No, it's Richarlison.
It's not Richarlison, you donut. It's Romero. It's Romero.
Oh yeah, it is Romero.
Oh, the next one's Richarlison.
Well, who plays in the 9 shirt?
Richarlison.
Richarlison. Seb, I can't believe you didn't get the 17. That's what I wear.
I
when
know.
I go...
I thought Romero still wore number 4. That's what I got it wrong with.
Right, and number 5, who plays in number 21?
Oh God, is that Session?
Seb actually has got that shirt. Can you believe it?
It's Kulisevsky.
Kulisevsky.
I'm an idiot.
Right, Seb, so you've got 3 out of 5. So you've got to decide now. I'm going to give you the number 6, question number 6. If you get it right, you'll finish on 6 points. But if you get it wrong, you finish on 0 points. You ready? You want to gamble?
Yeah.
He wants to gamble, Layla. You ready? Okay. For 6 points, for a total of 6 points, who plays in the number 27 shirt?
Oh God.
Think about it, Seb. Think about it. God, I don't want to rush you too much. 5, 4, 3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
What's your answer?
I don't know. I'm going to guess.
Come on.
Saying that? No.
Come on.
Still no.
I'll give you a clue. He's played for us for a few years.
Oh, a few years.
This is not a new signing.
Okay. How? Oh, God, no. Cecil?
No,
It's Lucas Moura.
Lucas Moura.
I've seen. I've known it for years. I've seen it in the back of the shirt when he scored against Ajax.
I think what we're going to have to do, Seb, is you're going to have to just learn them all now. So if we get this quiz again, you'll know them.
It's the pressure that's been on me.
Is it the pressure you feel? Yeah.
If I would have had more time, I would have got 6 out of 6.
He done well though, Seb, didn't he?
Yeah,
He did do well. He did well.
He didn't end. Well, he didn't. That was
We're just
But he got 3.
He got 3, which is good. That's 3 out of 5, even though you gave him one of the answers.
Is not my favourite player, by the way.
No, yeah, I know. Everyone was Sessignon, wasn't
I thought you said 4. You said 3. I can hear you.
Right. Okay. So yesterday evening, we found out who we're getting in the next round of the in the third round of the Carabao Cup, and we've got Nottingham Forest away, who coincidentally are the team we're playing at the weekend. Firstly, what do you make of that, getting Nottingham Forest in the cup? It's good draw, Seb.
Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, really hard. No, it's not really hard, but I feel like it's Nottingham Forest. Even though they've newly been promoted, they wanna do well, really well, don't they? They've got Lingard.
Yeah, they've made loads of signings, haven't they?
They've made 12 signings.
There's rumours that they're interested in buying Sergio Reguilon off us on loan for a season.
I wouldn't mind that.
You wouldn't mind?
No, because Sergio doesn't get game time this season because there's like 3 left backs in front of him in his position, and I don't think he's for the cut. He did play well in that 2022 season, but yeah, I wouldn't mind him going to Nottingham Forest for a season.
It's interesting as well getting Nottingham Forest in the cup, because especially the League Cup, you can have seasons sometimes where every round is easy. Well, not easy, but every round is winnable. You play teams from the lower league, and sometimes you don't get a Premier League team to like almost the semi-finals or the finals, so it can make the run a lot easier. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? I think getting a Premier League team in our first round, in the third round, sometimes you're like, I wish I'd got an easier team. But if we win it, then it gives us hopefully the confidence to progress through the cup, doesn't it? Yeah. So we've got let's say we've got Nottingham Forest at the weekend as well, away in the league. What's your thoughts, Seb?
Oh God, I think we're going to win that game. Actually.
Yeah. What makes you think that?
I think Conte with his since it's the start of the season, they're all energetic because they've had their break for a couple of weeks, haven't they? And they've 3 games in, and we've been playing like second half. We've been playing like really prime Spurs, like when we were under Pochettino in 2013.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I think we're gonna win just because our players are performing really well lately, especially Romero, Kane. Our new signings. Well,
we don't I know Romero. It was a bit conflicted, wasn't it, with Romero, because there was reports he was going to be out for 4 weeks, and then Conte come out and said it was just a muscle injury, and he might not miss that much. So we might see him play at the weekend, mightn't we? But saying that, Davinson Sanchez has come in, and I don't think he's conceded the goal in something like 9-10 hours of him playing. Because you remember, like me and you was at the Arsenal game, wasn't we? And that was when Romero was injured, and our first thoughts were, gee. But Sanchez played fantastic, didn't he? We kept a clean sheet, didn't we? And then we kept a clean sheet against Burnley, kept a clean sheet against Norwich, and Sanchez has come in and we kept a clean sheet against Wolves.
He made an amazing block against in the first half. Came to Nunes, the new signing Nunes. He shot it, and it's gone straight into Sanchez, and it's gone out for a corner. So he's blocked it from going to another Wolves player in the box.
Yeah,
because
sure.
There's no other Spurs players there except from him and Lloris.
Yeah. But I think the difference between like Sanchez, like when he first came to the club, I think it was a confidence thing for him. And like I said in the podcast before, I think Mourinho affected the confidence of so many players, and he affected the confidence of Sanchez, because I don't know if I ever told you, but I think it was Man United when Mourinho was managing Man United. They played Ajax, I think, in the final of the Europa League, and Sanchez was playing for Ajax at the time, and he absolutely ripped into him.
He scored a bicycle.
Yeah, but he ripped into Sanchez, saying how bad of a player he was. So can you imagine, like, Sanchez is at Spurs, and then Mourinho comes along and he's like, that's the player that really criticised me, so that's going to knock his confidence straight away, isn't it? But I think he's a really good player. It's very different to Romero, isn't he? And I feel like Romero's more calming.
Yeah.
Romero's got more of a calming influence. But like you said, Sanchez is a great blocker of the ball, and he puts his head in. You know, he's really almost like an old-fashioned centre back, isn't he?
Like he's really improved under Conte. Like his physicality, you see him during the years. Like under Mourinho, he was looking like he was younger than himself. But this year, he's like says young. He's like looking like he's a 27-year-old.
Yeah, he's obviously done a lot of work in the gym, hasn't he?
Yeah, like that. As on the Spurs page, you can see them training, and you see how professional the training is. Like they're not like doing bench presses. They like do laps around pitches. They're running. They're like jumping like high, like practicing their jumping. Bentancur did one in the Spurs page, and he looked like he was really physical, strong.
That's good.
And there was like professional trainers there training him.
Yeah, I like watching those videos when you see them training, because it just you sort of see the behind the scenes that you don't normally see, do you?
Yeah.
So what are you going for? What's your prediction for the score against Forest?
Forest, I'm gonna have to go 2-0.
2-0 to Spurs.
First game.
Yeah.
Against West Ham.
Well, let's stick with Forest at the moment. Okay. So 2-0 Forest, and who do you think is going to be our goal scorers?
Kane and Kulusevski.
Kane and Kulusevski, the two Ks. What about you, Layla? Have you got any thoughts on the game? For the Nottingham Forest, Spurs versus Nottingham Forest for the weekend? What do you think is going? Do you think Spurs are going to win? Do you think it's going to be a draw? Do you think Forest is going to win?
I think it's going to be a draw.
You think it's going to be a draw? What's going to be the score? What do you think the score is going to be?
I don't know. Maybe 2-2.
2-2. And who do you think is going to score Spurs' goals?
I don't really know.
You know some of the players.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite player?
Son.
Do you think he's going to score the 2 goals?
He's a really good player, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's funny this season as well, because I was talking about Mourinho, wasn't I? And under Mourinho, how he really heavily relied on Kane and Son.
Yeah.
But it seems under Conte, with the way he plays, anyone can score. Like when we watched Southampton game.
Yeah,
so yeah, I mean,
dire.
Like we always want to go with Kane, don't we, and Son? But I think that it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be 2-1 to Spurs. And goal scorers, I can fancy Kulusevski scoring one, and I don't know, maybe one of the defenders.
Sanchez.
Yeah, like a header, maybe. If Sanchez is playing, yeah.
When we played Norwich and he scored that goal, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Corner.
Well, but before our next podcast, when hopefully Sam's better and back, we obviously normally record on a Thursday, so we've got 2 games before Thursday, and our second one on next Wednesday night is going to be against West Ham. Now, West Ham absolutely hate us, don't they?
We hate them too.
Do we as much as they hate us?
They really hate us, but I hate them a little bit. Like, I've seen our players are really bad and stuff.
They always seem to raise their, just like Chelsea, they always just seem to raise their game against us, don't they?
We beat last season, we beat them 2-1 and 3-1.
But it's at their ground, so it's at their that ground that they rent, where they don't even pay for the light bulbs. So what do you think? What's your thoughts on how you think we're going to do next Wednesday against West Ham, Seb?
I'm gonna go 3-1 again.
3-1? You fancy 3-1?
Yeah.
Yeah. It should be a good game. I know we have beaten them quite often at their ground, at their stadium. So
3-1 or 2-1. That's what I'm gonna go on.
So you think 6 points from the next 2 games?
Yeah.
What about you, Layla? Have you got any thoughts on it?
I think maybe 2-1 as well.
Oh, so you're going to go for a win. So you're going to go for a draw and a win this time?
Yeah.
It'd be fantastic. I've got a good feeling if we can sort of eradicate the.
I think Basuma's going to score in this game.
Oh, we've got so many new signings, haven't we, that haven't really played much. I mean, Perisic is the only new signing that's started a game this season, isn't he?
But so far, Basuma's been decent, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. And the good thing as well, when you think about it, so there's going to be 2, because we're used to at the moment just playing 1 game a week, aren't we?
Yeah.
And so there's going to be 2 games in the space of 4 days. So maybe he will rotate. Maybe Richarlison will get a start. Maybe Basuma will get a start. Keep the players fresh.
Yeah, I think Kulusevski and Richarlison is going to be a fight all season. Who's going to start there? But I think most of the season is going to be Kulusevski.
Yeah.
Even though Richarlison is a good player.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as we speak, so it's Thursday today, and it's going to be the Champions League draw later on in the evening.
Yeah,
now, I know
can't
you're
wait
very
for that.
excited, Seb, aren't you?
Yeah.
So me and Seb were talking about it last night, and Seb kind of wants an easier draw just to guarantee that we get through to the last 16. Me personally, I would love to get, for example, Paris Saint-Germain, because can you imagine going to the Spurs stadium, seeing Mbappe, Neymar, Messi at our stadium? That, for me, I don't care if they beat us. Just to see those three players at our stadium would be absolutely amazing. But what's your thoughts, Seb?
I just really it doesn't matter because PSG are guaranteed to get through to 16, last 16, aren't they?
Yeah.
So like we could play them in the semi-finals. That would be way more exciting than playing them in the group stage. And also then we get to see them playing with Mbappe, Neymar, Messi. And then we get further. And if we do lose, then it's not less embarrassing than getting knocked out the group first thing. That's why I want to get past to the last 16.
Yeah. So you'd rather us have an easier group just so we're guaranteed to get through there.
Yeah.
Is there any teams that you fancy playing in the group stages? Ajax.
Yeah. I wouldn't say they're easy, but I feel like we could. We could win. I'm not saying we're gonna beat them, but I feel like there's a high chance of beating them. And
do you not think Bergwijn's going to want to show Spurs what he's really made of?
Yes, sadly, but I don't think he's going to score against Lloris.
Don't you think?
No.
Do you think Lloris knows him too well?
Yeah, knows him too well.
It's going to be so exciting. I can remember I took you to your first Champions League game, Seb. I think it was back in 2018, I think. So how old would you have been? You only been six. There you go. So I remember watching it, and we'd been really excited and hoping you'd be excited. But I think you just wanted to watch Paw Patrol after about 10 minutes, so I had to put Paw Patrol on.
That wouldn't happen now.
No, it 100% wouldn't happen now. I took you to a game last season, Layla, didn't I, as well? Yeah, but you wasn't too happy about it, was you? No. Why wasn't you happy about it?
Because everyone was screaming when they score goals, so I'm kind of sensitive to loud noises.
Oh, it was a bit sweet. I think we played Brentford, didn't we? And everyone was shouting, but everyone gets really happy. The problem is, Layla, taking you to the South Stand, and that's the loudest one, isn't it? Seb, the South Stand.
Taking her to like the stand next to the people, the away fans, would be quite because you don't want to upset them because they'll start being rude to you, won't they?
Yeah.
Especially near Arsenal when they. So you don't want to celebrate the goals that much.
No, absolutely. So what? Before we go, then we're saying Seb thinks we're going to get 6 points on the next two games. Layla thinks we're going to get 4 points. I'm hoping for 6 points, and I'm also hoping for all the big boys in the Champions League draw. Even though Seb wants a nice, easier one. It's interesting to see both the Scottish clubs, wasn't it, in the getting through as well. Both Rangers and Celtic.
I thought PSV were actually going to get through they go through every season.
Yeah, because we went to. I know I've mentioned before on the podcast, but Seb, you and I went to the Celtic ground, didn't we, last season to do a stadium tour?
That was a good stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd be actually. I wouldn't mind getting one of the Scottish clubs. That'd be quite interesting to get one of those.
I wouldn't want to play Celtic because they love us, don't they?
No.
It'd upset them, won't it?
Well, you know what happens? Well, if we get Celtic, Joe Hart will be coming back, won't he? And Cameron Carter-Vickers coming back to the.
Cameron Carter-Vickers won't want to score against us because we're the people that took him to our garden and made him a good person.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen? Joe Hart's going to play an absolute worldie, isn't he?
He played terrible for us, and he's going to play amazing against us in Celtic.
Oh no, we'll see. Right, guys, thanks for listening for the Coulson Summer Holiday takeover, and guys, thanks for joining me. So before we go, do you want to say goodbye, Seb?
Bye.
And Layla, do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
And what can we say before we go? Should we say, "Come on, you Spurs"?
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.